As hard as it is to believe, it's been nearly 5 years since the Edenville Dam, after days of heavy rains, gave way and unleashed horrific flooding. And yes, this building behind me has stood on West Grand Boulevard for nearly 100 years. And this ambitious project plans to make it the latest historic building in the city to get a much-needed facelift. This was a situation that could have definitely gotten worse, but here are some tips to make sure that you're staying safe on the water throughout the spring as well as coming up this summer. Now, you have to remember that you always wear a life jacket. This standoff capped off a very tense night here in Allen Park. That standoff lasted 5 hours, but there are some questions that still remain. And now we head over to breaking news, where we're learning the identity of the McDonald's employee who's accused of stabbing her manager to death on Thursday. In the last 30 minutes, we've obtained this booking photo for Afeni Muhammad. Now, she's expected to be officially arraigned in the next hour. The incidents, the school says, date back to the 1960s and 70s and involve faculty members who are no longer with the school or are deceased. Matthew Snyder is a former U.S. attorney and has previously worked in the state attorney general's office. And this is a rather shocking crime that unfortunately has become more frequent, but Wayne County has a new way to help residents fight back. Fire Marshal Eggers says that the majority of injuries are to people's hands, eyes, and your face. So be careful when you're lighting up those fireworks, whether you want to have your cake and eat it too, or you're really trying to do it big after the barbecue. The word of this weekend is safety. And we have some good news for you this afternoon, as the traffic nightmare in Royal Oak is finally over. Check this out. Now, here's what it looked like near Woodward and 696 this morning near the Detroit Zoo. All of the traffic lights were out, and if you were in that area, you already know how crazy it gets in the morning when those lights are working. Buddy and Kim and Ty, it is this 45-page lawsuit against the city of Detroit and Wayne County for $100 million, but for Dwayne Williams, who was sent to prison under false pretenses, it's a lot bigger than just money. Now, according to Taylor police, while Trey was out with his friends, he got into some sort of altercation with a group of teens that occurred somewhere around here, behind the Meyer on Eureka Road. Someone pulled out a gun and shot him during this altercation, and he collapsed here, not far from his home, where a makeshift memorial has come up in his honor. And federal investigators are trying to get to the bottom of that mid-air crash at Reagan National Airport that killed 67 people back in January. And yes, I spoke with his lawyer, and while this man and his family are very happy with this decision, they do feel that this money will not heal all wounds, and I will warn you, some of what you're going to see is graphic. Thank you so much for joining us for Local 4 News at noon on this Friday. We'll see you later this afternoon for Local 4 News at 4, 5, and 6. And all the news and weather is going to be available 24 hours a day on clickondetroit.com as well as on the app. Have a great Friday afternoon, everybody.
I do not want this at all out here.
Larry Schultz has lived out here along Milan Oakville Road for 35 years. And he made it very clear he is not in favor of the proposed data center, which is the latest in a line of development on this stretch of land along the border of Washtenaw and Monroe counties.
We had nice farmland on the other side of Arcona Road. Now you go look at it, it's all them solar panels all the way down the road.
The data center, which is owned by a New York-based private equity firm called Thor Equities, would sit on 522 acres of an 810-acre plot of land. And this has sparked everything from concern to straight-up anger from longtime residents like Larry.
No, I do not want it. Everybody down this road on both sides don't want it. You go talk to any of them.
And that's what we did.
The FBI opened the shooting range, which has been quite a noise pollution problem, and then a mile down the road they've put in they're putting in a solar farm.
Judy Harris has lived with her husband at their home across the street from Larry since 1984, and while they have dealt with the change of the previous projects, the data center feels like a bridge too far.
It's quite a lot because that's all happened within the last couple of years, and now they're talking about putting in a data center, which is going to really change our way of life, I believe.
Now, the Planning Commission voted 5-1 to recommend denial of the project to the Township Board of Trustees, who will have the final say on rezoning. Thor Equity said in a statement earlier today that, quote, "We recognize that new developments often raise important questions from the community, and we are committed to addressing them. This project is in the early and exploratory phase and would use approximately 20% of an 800-acre site, and our priority is to engage openly with the community, listen to concerns, and provide clear information at every step. For people like Judy, She feels that proposals like this can often feel like a bait and switch.
A lot of things that are promised on when these things go in don't happen, and they change after they get what they want.
I was at work and my neighbor called me and he told me I got to get home right now.
Wednesday was not a good day for Dave Rose.
Half of my roof is in the middle of the street, and at that point I knew it was serious.
His home on the 33,000 block of Regal Street was hit by the tornado that spun up on Wednesday afternoon.
See the little funnel right there.
And led a path of destruction through this neighborhood.
Ceiling is actually really bowed and wet, and it's starting to crack.
And in a cruel twist, plowed right through Dave's house while leaving nearly every surrounding house largely unscathed.
They're trying to get everything out of there right now before it caves in.
And I guess they lost a pole over here. That's why I don't have any power.
Darren Nowicki lives a couple of blocks down.
Yeah, like I talked to this guy last night. They had power, but he was out.
The storm left dozens of trees shredded, power lines down, tore shingles off roofs, and even tossed trampolines around.
So you couldn't even go down this street.
And it made things treacherous as he tried to get home
They got
from work.
that cleaned up yesterday so you could go down the street, because I couldn't even walk. You couldn't drive down any of these streets. I had come in over here and I had to drive all the way around to get to my house.
While Nowicki's home was spared major damage, Dave Rose spent today on the phone with insurance companies, but was still thankful for one thing.
There's nothing good to come out of it. The only thing that I'm lucky on is no one was home, my boys weren't here, and no one in the neighborhood got hurt.
How hot is it in that building right now?
I've heard some people say that their apartment is as high as like 95 to 100 degrees. Mine is about 90.
That was a conversation I had with a resident at the Jefferson Apartments on Tuesday. She was the only one willing to go on camera, doing so under concealment out of fear of retaliation from management. The air conditioning is the latest ongoing problem at the building, formerly known as the Jeffersonian, the once iconic 30-story high-rise along the Detroit River. And as the problem got worse, management opened up cooling stations on the 1st and 29th floors of the building, but that didn't help much.
And I guess they're helpful, but it doesn't help us sleep comfortably at night.
The 60-year-old building has been managed by Farmington Hills-based Friedman Real Estate since 2023. They've been managing the Jeffersonian on behalf of Fannie Mae, which took over the building in 2022, and the issues of disrepair have been a constant problem. Local 4 has covered the issues at the Jefferson for years.
I make sure I'm up early just in case I get up and the elevator doesn't work. So then I got to take 20 flights of stairs just to make sure I'm to work on time.
Poop was in your tub for 2 to 3 days?
Yes.
No!
The building that was once one of the jewels of the riverfront has been swamped with one problem after another, and the residents are fed up and tired of hiding.
Like the other issues going on in the building are annoying or inconvenient, but this is dangerous.
Now, after reaching out all week, we finally got a response from the property management company Friedman after paying them a visit in Farmington Hills earlier today. They wouldn't go on camera, but they did say in a statement that, quote, "We've been working diligently, and as of today, 75% of the system has been restored to operation. Service efforts will be ongoing until the entire system is fully functional. We also encourage residents who've turned off their apartment air conditioners to restart it as soon as possible to help lower indoor air temperatures. Our maintenance team is conducting door-to-door visits to ensure that systems are set correctly and operating as intended." Now, we have also I've spoken to a couple of the residents, including the one I talked to on Tuesday, and she said that while her air conditioning is starting to work, it's still 80 degrees in her apartment, and they also have not offered any concessions on things such as this month's rent. Ben Cameron stopped by a yard sale in Madison Heights in 2023. One thing caught his eye.
Now, I'm not even that type. I'm not a treasure hunter. I'm not a picker or anything like that. But for some reason, that just stuck in my head.
It was at that yard sale that he spotted this giant cast iron antique safe inscribed with the name of a pharmacist named Carl G. Granicher. After mulling it over, he pounced on it, and once he got some help lugging the nearly 1-ton antique into his house, the next question, what's in the box?
For a while there, I didn't want to damage it at all. So I was trying to manipulate it open myself, having no idea what I'm doing. I even got a doctor's stethoscope.
He eventually called in a locksmith who drilled a hole into it, cracking the safe, and once inside,
oh, look at that.
He found ledgers and prescription pads dating back as far as the 1930s. However, it was what was inside this small compartment on the upper left that raised eyebrows. 3 small boxes, 2 of them containing a Purple Heart and the other a Bronze Star. There was also a letter of commendation for the soldier who earned it, Private First Class Milford Magnuson. The letter read in part, Despite the intense enemy fire, Private Magnuson, with utter disregard for his own safety, moved forward and administered first aid to every wounded man in the platoon. And he passed away in Pontiac in 1983 at the age of 72. Cameron, who served 8 years in the Army National Guard, and his goal is to get the medals back to Magnuson's family because he understands the sacrifice he made.
This is a piece of history. This is a piece of Detroit history that I think belongs in the hands of the family. There's no reason for me to hold on to a piece of history that belongs to somebody else.
Awards like this Bronze Star go to soldiers who go above and beyond the call of duty, much like Sergeant Magnuson did that day in 1945. Now, we're going to ask you to go a little bit above and beyond the call of duty as well. If the name Magnuson sounds familiar to you, did you have a relative, maybe a grandfather or an uncle, who served in World War II? Help us get these medals back to his family. You can email us directly at jsmith@wdiv.com. In Royal Oak, I'm J. Scott Smith for Local 4.